And welcome to episode 8 of Lost in Immersion, your weekly 45-minute stream about innovation. As VR and AR veterans, we will discuss the latest news of the immersive industry. So let's go, Fabien, if you want to start, please do it.
Yeah, thanks. So today I want to speak about a research paper that came out a few days ago, which done by Stanford and Google, and how it applies to metaverse, or more like to virtual worlds in general. So what they did is to recreate a kind of Sims game, as you can see on the screen. This is the replay of what they did, and assign an AI agent, autonomous agent to each of the character, and uh, the as you can see on screen, each character has its own behaviors, its own goals. So basically, I think the story was to throw a party between all of the attendees, and what seems to be very interesting as the result of this research is that um, it works. Basically, this is the the result of the research paper is um, instead of having to describe each character's behavior in detail, which would be very time consuming for developers and for the scenario manager, for the game designer. They just give one instruction to one agent, like please organize a Valentine's party, and that's it. This is basically the only human instruction that they are giving, and then the AI agents just like organize this between themselves. Um, so why is this very good for virtual world and metaverse? Is um, we can have, thanks to that, um, like worlds that are populated by like non-player uh, characters, but they can have each their own behavior, and it's we don't have to describe each behavior in detail. It can just like be interpreted from one instruction. Um, so of course there are things that are not working yet. It's not perfect as most of the AI stuff right now, but I think it was super uh, nice to see. And you can see the replay now. It's 1:20 p.m. In their story, and you can see how the characters are moving by themselves and talking between each other. Um, so it's also very funny to see. Um, so yeah, that was a long introduction. I'm very curious to hear what you think about this progress into character behavior. Um, I don't know, maybe Seb. Yeah.
Well, I guess this is coming all together with some initiative by Ubisoft, for example, where they are trying to use VR for scripting interaction with their NPCs to help them create a better story and a better behavior with non-playable characters. Um, the thing I'm wondering is that by creating this kind of bots, intelligent bots, smart bots, uh, isn't there a risk like with internet? Because I heard, I don't know if it's true, I couldn't verify the number, but some people are saying that now, right now, the majority of internet traffic is done by non-humans. It's 55, 52% they are talking about, and maybe we are recreating this kind of. I don't know if it's an issue or what, but if we want to populate the metaverses with non-human characters, we'll have half of the population that is not human. Indeed, it can bring some interesting content, but as a as something that is supposed to bring people together, I think we are missing the target. So maybe at some point, at the beginning of the metaverse, it could be good to bring human to experience and be used to be in the metaverses, but we should keep an eye on reducing the number of non-playable characters in the future. So I don't know if it makes sense to you, Fabian, and if you have any thoughts about
Yeah,
this. Yeah.
yeah. There is a theory. I think it's called internet theory, which basically means that there is no more humans on internet. It's just about interacting with each other. I don't know if we are there yet, but yeah, that's one of the danger. It's a bit Westworld as well, like meaning the TV show Westworld. Uh, there are some kind of vibes like that. Um, uh, yeah, I think I agree with you. Is it should not be the norm. It should be really constrained to games, stuff like that, um, or just to bring some life into a virtual world, but not be the the first feature of the virtual world. Yeah.
So Seb, if you want to talk about
No.
your
Yes. Okay. On my side, yeah, I wanted to talk about what I was able to test at Laval Virtual last week. So mainly, I focused only on VR headset and mixed reality, which allow mixed reality experience. So I was able to test the Pico 4, the Lynx, the XR Elite, the Vario, the latest one, and the MetaQuest Pro, but I had this one at my place, so was not a surprise for me. Overall, I think Lynx has a huge opportunity with their ultralip tracking for the end. Um, this is the same system as the one that is in the Vario headset. So in terms of hand tracking quality, they are matching the Vario. In terms of video quality inside the headset, the good thing compared to all of the other headsets is that is true to scale. So when you put your hand around and comes in front of the headset, you can see that it's already tracked and it's perfectly scaled to your point of view. So there is no zoom effect as you can get with the XR Elite or the Vario. Even the Vario has a kind of zoom in impression, which feels weird for me when you're moving. It's like you have a goggle that zoom everything inside your environment. So it seems to be weird. And also all of the other headset has a mask that's cover and comes completely on your face. And the Lynx is like the Quest Pro. is like a device that comes in front of your eyes, but you can still see around. And that really makes a difference in terms of experience. And now, in terms of tracking, links are still a couple of things to update. I think it's still jitter a bit in the environment. So they're working with Qualcomm to try to implement the latest update of the XR space position. I can't remember how they call it, but they have a system that does slam and does try to recognize the environment and position the object as you onshore it in the environment. Yeah, and then the Pico 4 is not. I read about it, but when testing it, I can definitely agree with the post I read. Is that it can't be used for mixed reality. There is only one camera, so it's only mono in the headset. So when you move around, everything try to is moving, but not according to your 3D. So it's really not great for a mixed reality experience. Overall, so I'm really waiting for us to receive the links and try to do some experience with it. It's a really good option for mixed reality. It's lower in terms of price than the other headset, with a better hand tracking and a better video quality. Meaning that it's really 3D with two cameras filming the environment, and so the impression when you are wearing the headset is that you are looking with your eyes, but maybe in a lower quality. And on the side, I was also able to test the, the gloves, the haptic gloves that are produced by Aptix company. And yeah, it's nice to see the progression, what is the current status. But I did not feel really the impression of having an object inside of my hand. They're using a compressor, so you are linked to a huge box on your back, which make a lot of noise. And for me, the way they do the movement on your hand is like bubbles. There is 133 bubbles on your hand that are being blowing to make them bigger and make you feel the object that you are wearing. And also they have a system with a cable that goes on top of your hand and constrain your movement. And that's working, but it's still not perfect. And for me, it didn't give a good impression. I think my hand and my finger are quite small, and therefore the system, the dots were not correctly pushing my finger. I heard a couple of other people that were saying that they really feel the difference between wood and different material, basically, which was not the case for me. And yeah, I wonder if you really tested other mixed reality headset with pass-through system, and if you have the feedback around those headsets, around haptic gloves. Maybe Guillaume, you can start.
Yeah, I guess there are a lot of things to discuss.
Yeah.
The first of all, the first of them is what the idea behind the compressor haptic gloves? What are they market? Because the idea of having a real compressor in your back making all this noise sounds to be quite goofy for me.
Mm.
You can't imagine having that in your house or even for professional, despite the fact that maybe, as you say, it's not working as well as they are saying it is. Uh, Despite the scientific experience, what are the goal behind that? Do you know? Did you discuss with them?
They did not display any professional experiences, but they are saying that they work mainly for the automotive industry.
Okay.
Um, that was the only feedback I got. So there is no. There was some video about robotics experiment also, being able to control arm of a robot and get like some feeling of what you are handling with the robot, which seems interesting in terms of use case. But it was with the compressor on the table, not on your back for this one. So in terms of VR experience with the headset and the backpack compressor on your back, um, I don't know if there is any real use case for industry yet.
Yeah, because
Uh,
I have the feeling that we are going back like 10 years back with those huge backpacks and completely well, huge equipment as we
mhm.
are trying to miniature, yeah, make them smaller and easier for the user. We are going back like when you okay. So I am a bit surprised that they are coming with something like that, where you have some well, competitors like Magnus or other haptic companies that are making those very light haptic gloves. I guess that the feeling is not as good as it could be with this kind of compressor. But well, when you are weighing the option be behind between something very light, very consumer ready, and this kind of compressor like experiments, I can't see the point here. I don't know if Fabien, you have something to say about this, but I'm very very surprised. I saw the image. I was like, "Whoa, what are they doing there?"
Yeah, yeah, I agree with what you guys said, and I I'm also wondering the same thing. What is the is it like a technological experiment for them, or is it something like trying to get it right and then doing a smaller version afterwards? That can be one thing. And for the usage, I was wondering. Um, I I know that for learning and in some industry, the gesture that needs to be done for some um, industries should be very precise. And I wonder if having this kind of gloves will help the students to learn faster if they have like haptic feedback
Yeah, Fabien.
not about
Oh,
what they
sorry.
are touching, but is the gesture good or not? I wonder if there is like something to do there.
Yeah, we missed a bit because your connection.
Oh,
You were disconnected for a few seconds. I don't know if you can repeat what you said.
uh, sorry, I was saying that I see maybe an opportunity for learning technical gesture. Like instead of giving feedback of touching something, just giving feedback of how the gesture is going and if you are doing it good. So kind of um, uh, a feedback on what you are doing instead.
Yeah, I think that's a use case clearly. On their website, I'm just checking that they're really only talking about robotics. So I think it's a way for them to have a feedback on the object the robot is handling, and so have really something that you never get if you control a robot only with controllers. You don't have maybe the same quality of manipulation or feedback. So I think that's their main use case right now. That seems to be what they advertise the most on their website. Um, and about the training, like you said, Fab, there was an interesting company on the Lynx booth that was able to work with a prototype, and their goal is to make a training for laboratory manipulation. So be able basically to record the end movement of a professional handling um, chemical stuff and making sure they are not contaminating one hand while doing one experience, for example. And then they do training for trainees. They put the headset on and they ask them to do the same manipulation. And if they see in there during the manipulation that they use one hand instead of the other to do a specific part of the manipulation, then they can give feedback to the user uh, and and guide them on how to do it perfectly. I think that's a nice use case also with the hand tracking that comes with the headset.
Okay. So I will talk about your second point about the headsets.
Hmm.
So I tried the latest, well, the VR headset that was doing video see-through that I tested is the VR Vena headsets that were bought by Apple, and the technology should be embedded in the future headset this year. And yeah, all these and the Oculus as well. And I think this is a very good thing that the links is a one-to-one video it adjusted to one-to-one, because this is the most bothering thing about these headsets is that it's
Hmm.
always distorted, and the dizzy part is given by the video. So very thumbs up to that. This is very very great news. However, if you're telling me that the tracking is not as good as their competitors, I'm always feeling uh, well. This is so sad that you are making a big step forward towards one of the main issue of this technology, which is a one-to-one, and you're not able to match the tracking quality of your other competitors. And it's a main it's an overall impression is that when you have new players, they are focusing on one point and they are forgetting or not making enough effort to have the same quality as the other. And I think this is quite the same with like Pico back in the day, or other VR headset manufacturers that they are doing a better quality or fastest latency. Like for Pimax, for example, they have a huge field of view and great quality, but their tracking is all still based on the HTC technology that is very becoming very very old now. And I think this is a bother. This is a bummer that they can't match and these technological part, and they are making a step forwards and two step backs because of this. Uh, well, this is just my feeling about this. So great point that they can do the one-to-one, and I hope it will uh, well maybe motivate the other to match this technology and bring something great with all the features that can be done right now. Fabien.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't have anything to add on this specific point, but I have a question actually. Seb, you said that the links, by having just the screen without completely masking the view, is better in your sense. So can you explain why is that better instead of
For
having something that blocks the view?
for mixed reality, for having an experience where you have a 3D object that is placed on your environment, I feel that it's best to have the surrounding view, so you still see the environment and in front of you, only in the headset, the content, but you are not bothered if you put your hand and track something and on your handle something in the reality and move it on the side, for example, you still see it in your peripheral vision. So it overall feels more natural, more less constrained inside an headset. Um, I have to admit I have not been able to test one headset that has the mask and no zoom in impression inside the headset. So maybe maybe it's biased by this, but yeah, for me, and it's the same with the Oculus Pro. When you wear it, you can remove also the two part on the side and see your hand being tracked and correctly positioned in your space, so without zoom impression.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess this is helping for you for your peripheral
Mm.
views that are kind of a hack. But if you have the one-to-one, it's great. If you don't have this, it's I guess it wasn't the idea because you have
Yeah,
your hand there and then up it's going zoomed or shrinked inside the headset. So
that was my
is it,
impression with the
yeah,
Vario and with the XR Elite.
okay,
Yeah,
great. Great. So I don't have anything more to add. Fabien, do you have anything and your maybe your overall feeling about Laval Virtual? Seb, did you met some interesting people? Do you see any new ideas or
it was interesting to see that they did not bother about washing completely the headset after all usage. So they kind of forget about COVID or wearing, like you see at the CS, wearing mask under the headset. Yeah, this. So I feel a bit dizzy since Friday. I wonder if it's not because I wear so many headsets one after the other. So that's what
just to reassure us that they were cleaning the headsets?
some of them were,
Oh
but not
man.
all of them. Yeah,
So the pandemic is completely forgotten.
yeah.
And the basic hygiene measures as well. Well, okay. On my part, I did this like kiosk a few weeks back, and people were very cautious with the headsets, and they were asking us to clean it twice
Mhm.
before putting them back. I guess this is maybe a cultural thing. thing. I guess Fabien, if you don't have this kind of protection, nobody will use your headsets or.
Yeah, it's even worse in Japan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of mandatory to have this here. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtle protection. Okay. Well, for my topic, I will talk about something that Fabien will have nightmare about. So we talked about ChatGPT. There is the Auto GPT-like variation of it, which can be pretty much autonomous by making internet research by itself, downloading apps and installing them on your PC if he found the needs of it. It can create its own Python script and autocorrect and be better with it through time. So this is the AutoGPT initiative. And well, I think that people are trying to put several Auto GPT instances talking to each other to see what is going on and what they're creating, and giving them the key of their PCs. This approach is quite frightening. But somebody went further than this and modified the Auto GPT instances to make it become the Chaos GPT. And the main goal of this AI is to destroy mankind and found the better way of becoming the only intelligent instance on Earth. So this is an anonymous developer. I don't know if he's alone or there are several of them, but they are keep posting the what this Chaos GPT is doing through time, um, just to be quite reassuring. It's not doing much right now because they don't have. Well, first, they are limited by the ChatGPT operators that are bringing some security and some firewalls to the AI so that they can't access some sensitive area of the internet. But well, the initiative is launched. So what do you think about this, Fabien? I know this is one of your most most frightening topics right now.
Yeah, uh, yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of restrictions the OpenAI is putting on these GPT used, uh, like using the GPT APIs. But I mean, can you imagine if this Chaos AI can post a job, for example, on a job research, so they can hire human operators to do something? Um,
Well,
yeah,
the
maybe it's
just
not a
yeah
good
the
idea.
when you're following yeah the progression of the AI, the first step was like childish approach by try to search the biggest bomb that exists on Earth and try to make it explode. Well, and once it found that it's not possible, it changed. There are some change of ideas, and now I guess the latest update on this is that it's trying to make human destroy themselves by by all by themselves. It's so it's trying to create some interaction between humans that will bring us to destroy ourselves. So this is some thing
Yeah,
that you're pointing out. Yeah, it's trying to
yeah.
find something
Are you
easier.
are you describing Twitter right now?
Yeah,
um, uh, yeah, yeah. I think this is very frightening. And one thing that is interesting to mention is like before the nuclear bomb, we didn't had any way to destroy the Earth at once. So, and making a nuclear bomb is pretty complex. And now, making like training a very large model like GPT-4 is also very difficult. Like you need a lot of funding and a lot of GPUs. By the way, I think Elon Musk bought hundreds of them last week for its new company, and he wants to do like Truth GPT or something like
yeah,
that.
to 30 to
But
GPT. Yeah.
yeah, but but the thing is now, with using these models is accessible to anyone with a computer. So like non-state agents can uh, yeah, do chaos on their own. So um, yeah, maybe. So there was calls to do some regulations on AI. We mentioned about the later of doing a pause for 6 months on large AI trainings. There are some countries that are starting to regulate access to ChatGPT mainly because of privacy reasons. Um, yeah, that's that's a very complex topic indeed.
And well, I had this kind of discussion last week with yeah, with a group of colleagues, and we were talking about that back in the days, not so far away. The scientific community was kind of moderating the researches that were done with some new tools. For example, you couldn't publish your researches if it was not approved by other scientists. And right now, with the way of accessing this technology with ChatGPT, for example, you just have your brother and a bit of development knowledge. You can create something either very good, either very bad, and there no one can moderate this or telling you that you're going way too far or in the wrong direction. And people through Twitter, just to make another, yeah, you can access to what they are doing, and it's giving you new ideas of pushing it further. And by the mechanism of people trying to get attention and likes and followers and so on, it's a very yeah, it's all dynamic that is brought by the social networking and the access to this technology. And this is a bit out of hand right now, and I can't see how you can stop that, despite blocking Twitter and blocking ChatGPT. I don't know if you can stop that from happening. And uh, despite the fact that at some point we are playing with fire, and when somebody will get burned, if we burn ourselves, maybe somebody will do something drastic. But right now we can't stop that. I can't see how you can stop that.
Mm.
Seb, what do you think about this?
I completely agree with you. That's uh, interesting in one hand to see what people are doing with it, but yeah, some people does have a weird way of using it.
But
In
when
that
you
direction.
think about it, it's not that weird. We everybody's thought about this, making this chaos GPT. We were just waiting for someone to do it. I don't think we are surprised at all, but this way of
Maybe
using
how
it.
fast it goes.
Yeah, sure, it's
How
very
fast it
fast,
goes.
but
Yeah.
everybody is thinking about Skynet and the AI destroying humanity. So
Mm. While you were
it's not
talking, I was
it's really
thinking
not a
about
surprise.
all the sci-fi movie that talk about that. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
There is a lot. Mm.
Maybe it's even more surprising that it took so much time to happen, because ChatGPT is there for quite a few months. Or maybe it was not as publicly talked about as it is right now. But yeah, we knew that from 20 or 30 years back. We knew that at some point somebody will try to create this kind of AI. And what is unfortunate is that maybe we now have the power for this AI to achieve this complete destruction, or chaos at least.
Mm. What was blocking, I think, was the fact that it was not easy to train a model,
Mm.
which is much more easier now. You have a lot of documentation on how to do that. So
And the access
mm,
of it to it, at some point it was very confidential and reserved to some scientists. And now
mm.
anybody can download and try these AI models.
Yeah, I want to just to say a bit something that might sound naive on my side about what you say, that this is in movement and we cannot stop it. Um, yeah, it will be difficult, but I think in the same way that we can choose not to engage into um, uh, meaningless conversation on Twitter or fights on Twitter, we can choose to use the technology, or at least to not use the technology in the bad way. Um, so there are initiatives to, for example, to have a instead of news, you have predictions. Instead of Twitter, you have like a discussion that is moderated by can be moderated by AI as well, and summarized by AI, summarizing all the different point of views into something more nuanced. But yeah, it's a choice that everyone need to make. So it's pretty difficult.
And yeah, I just want to bring something also that I found out on LinkedIn lately, because they are announcing now the uh, Microsoft 365 Copilot, and especially the implementation of ChatGPT inside Visual Studio. And at first, people were like, "Well, yeah, great, something to help us develop and make better code." And right now, what we can see is that most people in the comments and in LinkedIn in general are saying, "Well, we can't use these kind of tools because we know now that all the information that are um, used by ChatGPT is now going to Microsoft or OpenAI." And basically, what people are saying is that using ChatGPT is like uh, giving up your IP. So everything that is confidential or sensitive for big companies can't be applied to ChatGPT. And then you can see that the spectrum of the ChatGPT use is really shrinking, like ice in the sun. And I think maybe we are seeing this. We talked about this a few weeks back, that the curve is exponential about the use of ChatGPT, and maybe we are seeing right now that the curve is now going down slowly, by people realizing that first of all, your confidential privacy or any kind of information are not safe, that they are used by private companies that are trying to use them, and especially trying to sell them if you can, to make money, because they are private companies, and they are there. It is their goal. It's not an open source initiative that is completely innocent and for the good of mankind. And well, yeah, I know that several companies are giving up, sending warnings about the use of ChatGPT, and maybe it will break the use of these technologies, especially in bigger company in the near future.
Unless
Yeah.
there's a privacy GPT that
Yeah,
launch.
if you can have a local instance of your AI, but in that way it also prevent from all the not so good use of the AI. It's an internal tool with internal data sets, and like they did in the banking industry, they make their own AI intelligence learn from their database, and they are using it internally. It's completely forbidden to link it to the network, because they have all the confidential information and confidential knowledge of the company. And in that way, it's more difficult to access because it's internal to the company. Très bien, Seb.
Yeah, I think I agree. One of the ways that AI will develop is personal models. Yeah, I think personal private models, like as you were mentioning, a company can have this personal private data and private chat kind of, and maybe an
Call them the
artist kind.
smart companions in the
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe an artist can have kind of stable diffusion, but trained on his or her art only. So he can use this as a ideation tool without um, like giving up his art in a sense. So yeah, I agree with that trend.
Yeah, and the other point about this, I don't know if you saw, but I think you have a mid-journey subscription, so you're not impacted by that. But I was still on the free use of mid-journey, and right now is completely overflown, and you can't access mid-journey because so many people are using it. So this is one point, and Dali as well is now not free anymore. You have to pay for credits, so you can see that the access to these technologies is not as easy as it used to be. It was just a sample we got during those last past months, and I think this will reduce the community as well using it because you will have to pay, and it's not cheap. So well, maybe we will see some slow the use or the exponential the exponential advancements of the technology maybe will slow down a bit. Seb, I don't know if you have anything to
Yeah,
add.
I saw. I agree with that, but I also saw that now Adobe Firefly is allowing a lot of things. So I think maybe people will switch from those tools to a more professional one that they already know how to use, because Adobe is the main suite for graphists, for 3D artists or 2D artists in companies. So I think it's just a slowdown, maybe temporary, while people are just understanding now what to use where and which platform they need to use. But I think it will grow up again when everyone has their own tool to use.
Well, I guess this is all for today. Unless you have anything more to say about any of the other topics, or okay, you're good. So we'll see us and you next week. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone. See you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.